It's been a long 142 days, but finally, the Vancouver Canucks are back and we've got games to talk about. Starting with Game 1 against the Calgary Flames. And guess what? Aatu Ratu made the team! Anyway, all the new faces were in the lineup. Danton Heinen, Jake DeBrusk, Derek Forbort, Vincent Desharnais, Kiefer Sherwood, and Daniel Sprong. And while we did get some standout moments from almost every single one of those guys, don't confuse yourself. This game belonged to JT Miller. And by the end of this video, I think you'll agree. Anyway, the Canucks came out flying in the first period. I was screaming. Conor Garland broke in on a partial breakaway but couldn't seal the deal. Daniel Sprong did the same thing a few minutes later, but Dan Vladar stopped him. Then JT Miller rocked Kevin Rooney with a big, clean hit. Unfortunately, Rooney's head hit the boards pretty hard and he was down on the ice for a while. It was actually pretty scary, but after a few minutes, Rooney was able to get up and skate himself off the ice. And while he didn't return to this game, apparently he's doing well and he's only going to be out for a few days. So that's great news. It could have been a lot worse. However, even though the hit was clean, Miller became public enemy number 1 for the Flames. They wanted a piece of him, but he didn't care. In fact, it led to a power play for the Canucks, and obviously Daniel Sprong sniped one home for his first of the season to put the Whale team on the board, 1-0. Also, the Langley, BC native and brand new Canuck Danton Heinen got an assist on that goal, which is cool not just because hearing his name called out in Rogers Arena was likely a childhood dream come true for him, but also because his family was in the crowd to see it happen. Beautiful. The Flames were still determined to make Miller pay for his legal hit, but he wasn't budging. Look at this, Braden Pakal tries to hit JT after the whistle, but ends up getting the worst of it. Calgary was already blood red mad at this point, but then they took another penalty and Besser scored on the ensuing power play. 2-0. Also, that was Jake DeBrusk's first point as a Canuck. Then check this out. Mackenzie Weegar crushes Conor Garland with a big, clean, open ice hit, but Filip Hronek doesn't like it and starts skating towards Weegar to get in his face. But before anything could happen, Garland gets in between them and says something like, "Stop. There's no reason to fight. It was my fault. I should have kept my head up. It was a good, clean hit." And then he skated down the ice and scored. 3-0 Canucks. Also, that was Aatu Ratu's first point of the season. Yeah! And as you could imagine, all that did was make the Flames even hotter. Look at this. They're basically trying to jump JT Miller. It's mostly Anthony Mantha who really wanted a piece of him, but JT just wanted to play hockey. And that little hissy fit from Mantha led to yet another man advantage for the Canucks, and to make matters even worse for Calgary, they took another penalty, giving Vancouver a 2-man advantage, but they couldn't score. Instead, JT Miller sent Mantha in on a breakaway and, yeah, 3-1 Vancouver. So maybe Mantha got the last laugh there. Nope! Brock Besser scored a minute later thanks to a beautiful pass from Miller. 4-1 Canucks. At that point, Miller decided it'd be best to just squash the beef, so he dropped the gloves with Mantha and threw him to the ice. That was all just the first period of Game 1. And with the Canucks already up by 3 goals against a team projected to finish the season near the bottom of the standings, it kind of felt like we were about to witness a carbon copy of what happened in last year's home opener. A good old-fashioned Albertan beatdown. But to their credit, the Flames weren't going down without a fight. And boy did they fight. But before we get into what happened next, let's take a quick second to thank the sponsor of this video, me! Yeah, there's no sponsor, it's just me. I just want to take this time to tell those of you who may not know, I have a podcast, and it's really just an unscripted, unedited extension of these videos, but I also have guests from time to time. I've talked with other YouTubers, such as Turning the Tables, Diener HD, and Pinholes Graham. I've talked with ex-Canucks players, such as Brendan Bemo Morrison and Eddie the Stork Lack, and I've even had a few of you nuckheads on the show, so if you're into any of that, click the top link in the description of this video to give it a listen. It's called the Nuckhead Podcast, and new episodes come out every Thursday morning. Okay, back to the game. Vinny Desharnais got called for interference, but his teammates killed it off. Andrei Kuzmenko made some yucky little moves in the neutral zone. Flames defender Rasmus Andersson tried to slap one on net, but Jake DeBrusk was there to make the painful-looking block. However, just 8 seconds later, the puck found its way back to Andersson, but this time he was able to bury it past Shilovs to cut the Canucks' lead in half. But I wasn't worried, because Vancouver was 42-1-4 when leading after 2 periods last season. 42-1-4! This should be a cakewalk.
A few moments later.
Pospisil scores!
Oh, okay. 4-3. Should be fine.
Moments later.
Weegar scores!
Oh, okay. Tie game. Whatever, a little overtime never hurt anyone, except for me on many occasions, but whatever.
Later.
Second period, there's a chance of it, and they've got another!
Okay! That's fine! That's cool! Look, I understand blowing a 4-1 lead to a team like the Flames, who, let's be honest, aren't supposed to be very good this season, doesn't evoke the best feelings in us Canucks fans. However, there is a positive. If the Canucks didn't blow that lead, we would have never seen Quinn Hughes block an empty net attempt in the final minutes of the third period and then send the puck up to JT Miller, who was streaking up the left side, who then slap shots the puck like it was 1983, top shelf past the Flames goaltender to tie the game with under 2 minutes left. Come on, that was pretty sick.
But then the Flames scored in overtime and won 6-5.
Huh?
I said, but then the Flames scored in overtime and won 6-5.
What? What are you saying?
Then the Flames scored in overtime and won 6-5. Okay, I don't fucking care. Anyway, on to Game 2 against the frustratingly structured John Tortorella-led Philadelphia Flyers, a team Vancouver struggled to find success against last season. The newly acquired goaltender Kevin Lankinen was in net, making his regular season debut for the Canucks, and he looked great, but we'll get to that later. First, it was me throwing 6 burritos at my TV screen after seeing Tyler Myers go down with some sort of injury. Say what you want about the Chaos Draft, but you can't deny how tough the guy is. He's barely missed any games in the last 3 seasons, so seeing him stay down like that was pretty worrisome. It also made the elephant in the Canucks locker room even bigger. Vancouver desperately needs some depth on defense. If even one of their top 6 guys go down, things start looking dangerously thin back there. And this team is a cup contender now, so they can't afford to be thin anywhere. However, while Myers didn't return to this game, he did join the team on their upcoming 4-game road trip and is already back on the ice skating, so bullet dodged. Garland had a nice chance to open the scoring, but couldn't get it past the block of Flyers defender Jamie Drysdale. Then, DeBrusk had a glorious opportunity to score, but shot it right into Samuel Ersson's well-positioned arm. And the Flyers netminder wasn't done there. Here he is making another great save on a shot from Brock Besser. And I wish I could say the next one went in for the Canucks, but nope, Ersson stopped that one too. This kid is pretty good. I'm happy we only see him twice a year. And then, right when my second batch of burritos arrived, Susie looked like he got injured. Not only do I need to eat, but the Canucks need defenders. Please stop. I don't even know who I'm saying that to, but please, no more. Get off our D! Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, Kevin Lankinen looked great in this game. Here he is stopping a shorthanded breakaway attempt from Bo Horvat's cousin, Travis Konechny. Here he is using his blocker to make a save. Here he is using his glove to make a save. Here he is hugging the post and using his chest to make a save. A lot of saves from this guy. I like him. And then we got a goal from... Hug. Lander! Seriously though, look at this. What a shot from Nils the Thrill's Big Hog Boss Hog Lil Nilsy Hoagie Homelander Hoglander. That was beautiful. 1-0 Canucks. But then Big Hog got called for holding and the Flyers scored on the power play, tying the game at 1. Whatever. And then, for some reason, Quinn Hughes thought it'd be funny to blast a shot off Hronek's ankles. Can we please cover our D-man in bubble wrap or something? Is that allowed? Anyway, Lankinen kept making unreal saves. Petey gave us a glimpse of what it looks like when he's not slumping. Philadelphia winger Joel Farabee started playing a game with himself to see how close he could get to scoring without actually hitting the net, and he was pretty damn good at it. And then, thanks to a sweet feed from Derek Forbort, Teddy the Bloogie Man Bluger scored his first of the season to put Vancouver back up by 1 heading into the final frame. And guys, I wasn't worried. Like I said, the Canucks were 42-1-4 when leading after 2 periods last season. 42-1-4. It's gonna be fine. Philadelphia scored 2-2. And listen, if it wasn't for Lankinen standing on his head, this game wouldn't have gone to overtime. I mean, just look at this save he made on Jet Luchenko. Incredible. Also, Jet Luchenko might be the best name in hockey right now. And then in overtime, the Canucks just couldn't find a way to beat Sebastian Ersson. It was crazy. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Anyway, this game should have ended in overtime with Philadelphia taking the win, but again, Kevin Lankinen made save after save, giving his new teammates every opportunity to pull out a win, but they just couldn't find a way, and the game ended in a tie with the Flyers winning the shootout and leaving with the extra point. Now, on to Game 3 against the Steven Stamkos' Tampa Bay Lightning, the first of a 4-game road trip. And there were 2 big lineup changes for the Canucks in this game. Number 1, despite leaving last game with a scary-looking injury, Tyler Myers was dressed and ready to go for this one, so that's a relief. Number 2, Daniel Sprong was a healthy scratch and replaced by BC boy Arshdeep Bains, who actually started the game playing up on the first line with JT Miller and Brock Besser. Wow. In Bane's first shift, he laid a hit and then got hit by the puck on the top of the head. It was kind of weird, actually. Later, he had a great chance to score, but couldn't power the puck past Lightning legend Andrei Vasilevsky. Speaking of goalies, Artur Shilovs was back in net for Vancouver, and man, did he ever look solid back there. Seriously, look at some of the stops he was making. There was clearly an arty party happening in the Canucks crease, and the whole Lightning roster was invited. Except Nikita Kucherov. He scored on a beautiful passing play, and Shilovs had no chance. 1-0 Tampa. After a sluggish first, the Canucks came out looking sharp in the second period. In one motion, Filip Hronek made a great defensive play and then sent Ratu in on a breakaway, but Ratu fanned on the shot. Pettersson was looking more like himself. Quinn Hughes had designs on a highlight reel goal. The Canucks were getting their chances this period, but that only made it more frustrating when Jake Guentzel and Braden Point teamed up to double the Bolts' lead to 2-0. Derek Forbort took a run at Kucherov, Petey threw his body at Nick Perbix. Then Garland stole the puck right in the Lightning crease, outweighted Vasilevsky to the point where he had an open section of net to shoot at, but he hit the f***ing post. It might just be one of those games, I don't know. Besser had a chance that was stopped by Vasilevsky. Then Hughes powered his way to the net for a chance, but couldn't beat the poke check. Despite not being able to score, the Canucks were clearly heading in the right direction going into period 3. All they needed was 2 goals and they had 20 minutes to score them. Of course they can do it.
Moments.
Centering pass across and score!
Yeah, so Tampa scored 39 seconds into the third period to put the Whale team down by 3 goals, and that's when I decided to put both my legs into a meat grinder. Now, Conor Garland, who was far and away the Canucks' best player in this game, at least in my opinion, did manage to tap one in on the power play, but that was all Vancouver would get, and with an empty netter, the Lightning won 4-1. Seriously though, Conor Garland played extremely well, not just in the game against Tampa. I actually think he's been Vancouver's best player so far this season. I know it's early, but we might be in for a career year from the Gargoyle. I do think the Canucks need a little more from Quinn Hughes, and a lot more from Elias Pettersson. Petey hasn't looked like himself for quite a while now, dating back to last season, but that does not mean we need to worry. Nobody cares about Elias Pettersson's performance more than Elias Pettersson does. He'll figure it out. 3 games into the season, and the Canucks have a record of 0-1-2, which isn't great, but it looks worse than it is. There's still 79 more games to go, so to any of you who might already be panicking, stop. The Vancouver Canucks are good. Chill out. The next 3 games are against the Florida Panthers, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Chicago Blackhawks. So drop your score predictions for those games in the comments below, because I'll be shouting out everyone who gets it right in my next video. But here's the thing, if you want your prediction to be seen, you have to format your comment like this. Anyway, thanks to these amazing nuckheads who choose to support the channel by clicking the join button. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye.